What's going on in California right now is a prime example of why the Democratic Party wants to have no voter ID requirements. It's obvious. If you've been following all the elections in California, you know that their rules and the way they do things is just absurd and crazy. Especially if you've been following the Spencer Pratt thing in LA. And it's not just happening in LA, it's happening all over the place in California. And what you have is when the election day or 2-day results come in, you have usually the Democratic incumbent is leading the race, and then there's a Republican kind of close behind, and then there's another Democrat that's way, way, way back in the back as far as the top three. And then as weeks go by, that's right, weeks, then this person that had 2% of the votes, now all of a sudden, when all the mail-in votes, that Republican gets 0 votes, and literally 0, and this person that was dragging behind gets 60% of all the mail-in votes, supposedly. And then they have these great rules like, mail-in ballots are valid. All you have to do is, if the voter writes a date on the mail-in ballot, on the ballot, it can be a no postmark, a wrong postmark date, a smudged postmark date. It doesn't even have to be from a reputable mail service or anything. Just as long as you get one and you write whatever date you want to on it and send it in, it will be counted. There's literally whatever.
This is actually from the rules around mail-in voting. Remember that in California, every person on the voter roll is sent a ballot. Of course, many of those people, they've either died or they've moved. So that's the first point. We've got to end the farce of all mail-in voting when you've got voter rolls that are so completely wrong. The second point is that they allow the ballot to be counted if it's received up to 7 days after election day. That's completely insane. That's one of the reasons it's taking so long. And then how do they check that it's valid? You would assume that they check that you voted by election day because of the postmark on the ballot. No. A voter's ballot shall be considered a valid ballot if the vote by mail ballot identification envelope has no dated postmark, the postmark is illegible, and there is no date stamp for receipt from a bona fide private mail delivery service, but the voter has dated the vote by mail ballot. You know what that means? You can backdate your ballot by hand. You could send it in 2 days after election day, write election day as the date, and they'll still consider it valid. That's completely insane. So that's got to change as well, obviously. But the really big point is that we've got to have voter ID, because one of the reasons it's all taking so long is because they're all sitting there trying to match signatures. Why? When you could have voter ID and all of that is removed.
So this is exactly why they don't want ID. It has nothing to do with being racist or race, or it's just an excuse. It has 0 to do. It's not racist at all. It's just so they can manipulate the vote the way they want and get the results that they want. It's easy. It's simple. There was a guy, he made a little video where he put his little I voted stickers, 3 of them, on his fingers and held it up and said, I voted 3 times in 3 different districts that weren't even mine, and blah, 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 blah. And he explained, I don't know how true it was, but he made the video and he had his little I voted stickers, 3 of them. So it just goes to show you that they'll stoop to any level to sway the vote and make it happen. And half of these, the people that, are involved in the community and want change and want things to be done, they voted. They voted on election day. And yes, there's some people that do mail-in vote because several different reasons. But the majority of the people that are these mail-in votes, I can guarantee you, it's the Democrats that went around to different buildings, apartment complexes, and so on, and said, here, look, we already filled this out. Just sign here, whatever. Do you want to vote? I know you didn't vote. So, and I'm sure there's a bunch of homeless people, and I bet there's a ton of illegals and everything else that they run around and they scrounge up these votes, and half of them are just made up. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But that's just this is just my opinion, and that's why the Democratic Party is looking at the way California manipulates their votes and stays socialist or communist or Marxist or whatever you want to call it. And the rest of the Democratic Party and the rest of the Democratic states, they want to do the same thing. So they're going to say, no, to have to show ID is racist. That way, anybody can go, they can get busloads of people and just drive them from pole to pole to pole, and they can all just vote. You can get illegals, you can get whatever, and they will just be able to go in and cast a vote that shouldn't even count. But hey, it's the Democratic way, isn't it?
What we do here is go back.